Thomas Whitmore pulled his charcoal overcoat tighter as he stepped out of the towering glass building and into the swirling December snow. At 42, he had turned Reynolds Industries from a small startup into a Fortune 500 giant. But on this particular day, success felt strangely hollow. His 7-year-old daughter, Mia, skipped beside him, her dark curls spilling out from under a knitted white beanie as she tried to catch snowflakes on her tongue. Before we dive deeper into this heartwarming story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Treasury, where every story reminds us that compassion is the true measure of success. "Daddy," Mia said softly, her breath forming little clouds in the cold air, "remember what you promised Mommy." Thomas's heart clenched. 8 months had passed since his wife, Rebecca, had lost her fight with cancer. Her final request still echoed in his mind. Help someone who needs it more than we do. Teach Mia that our blessings are meant to be shared. "I remember, sweetheart," Thomas replied gently, taking Maya's mittened hand. "We just haven't found the right moment yet." He didn't know that moment was waiting for them just around the corner. As they crossed Riverside Park on their way to their favorite bakery, Mia suddenly stopped in her tracks. "Daddy, look," she whispered. Beneath snow-covered pine trees sat a young woman, her blonde hair hiding her face as she hunched over a bundle in her arms. Her cardigan was far too thin for the biting cold, and the blanket around her baby looked worn and faded. "Daddy," Mia said urgently, "our baby's freezing." "We have to help." Thomas hesitated, his business, trained mind instantly assessing risks. But one look at Maya's determined expression, and he heard Rebecca's voice once more. "This is the moment. Stay close to me," he said, approaching the bench. The woman looked up, startled. Her name, they would soon learn, was Claire. At 28, she carried an air of quiet dignity that hardship hadn't erased. Her eyes were tired but full of love as she gazed down at her tiny infant. "Excuse me," Thomas said kindly. "Are you and your baby all right?" Claire clutched her child protectively. "We're fine. Just waiting for the bus." Mia frowned. "There's no bus stop here," she said, matter-of-factly. "And your baby looks really cold. My daddy has a warm car." Thomas knelt, lowering his voice. "I'm Thomas, and this is my daughter Mia. It's getting colder. Please, let us help." Claire hesitated but saw only sincerity in his face and compassion in Mia's eyes. "I'm Claire," she whispered, "and this is Lily. She's 2 weeks old." "She's so tiny," Mia breathed. "Daddy, Mommy would want us to help them right now." Thomas felt a lump form in his throat. "Claire, there's a family center nearby. They have nurseries and doctors. We could drive you there. They said they're full until after New Year's." Claire murmured, her voice cracking. "Then we'll find another way," Thomas said firmly. "Mia's right. Little Lily needs warmth now." He gently wrapped his red wool scarf around the baby. For the first time in months, Claire felt something she'd lost: hope. During the slow walk to Thomas's car, Mia chattered cheerfully about school, her favorite books, and how her mother always said, "Helping others is what makes you truly rich." Claire couldn't help but smile through her exhaustion. Once inside the warm car, Thomas made call after call to shelters and social services. As the heater hummed softly, Claire finally shared her story. She had once been a nurse, but after complications during Lily's birth, medical bills had destroyed her savings. Her partner had left, and eviction soon followed. After another failed call, Thomas turned to her. "Claire, I have an idea, and you're free to say no. My wife passed away earlier this year, but before she did, she made me promise to help someone who truly needs it. We have a guest suite at home. You and Lily could stay there while we figure out something more permanent." Claire blinked in disbelief. "Why would you do that for strangers?" Thomas smiled faintly. Because my wife taught us that real wealth isn't measured in money, but in the lives we touch. Everyone deserves a safe place to start again. Claire looked down at baby Lily, who was now peacefully wrapped in Thomas's scarf. I could work, she said quietly. I'm a nurse. I could contribute. Kindness doesn't require payment, Thomas said softly. But if you'd like to work, I can help. I sit on the board of the children's hospital where my wife was treated. They're always looking for compassionate nurses. Mia clapped her hands. And you can teach me how to take care of babies. Claire laughed for the first time in weeks. I might need to practice a bit myself, Mia. A week later, Claire and baby Lily were safely settled into the Whitmore's guest suite. Warmth and laughter slowly returned to the house. Thomas helped her connect with the hospital, where her story and skill impressed the chief nurse. One evening by the fireplace, Claire smiled shyly. I got the position. I start next month. Thomas's face lit up. That's wonderful news. I've also been looking for a small apartment, she added. Mia looked alarmed. But what if Lily needs us at night? You can't move. Thomas felt the same tug in his heart. Over the days, Claire had become more than a guest. She had become family. Claire, he said gently, what if you didn't have to choose between independence and support? What if you stayed, not as a guest, but as part of our family? Mia jumped up grinning. Yes! Then we can all eat dinner together, and Claire can read me stories when Daddy's busy. Tears welled in Claire's eyes. I can't accept charity. Thomas. It wouldn't be charity, he said softly. It would be love. You'd help with the home, contribute fairly, and help me keep my promise to Rebecca, that our blessings are meant to be shared. Claire looked around the cozy living room, at Mia, cradling Lily with gentle care, and at Thomas, whose eyes carried the same warmth that had once drawn her out of the cold. Are you sure? She asked. Before Thomas could reply, Mia smiled and said, Daddy, tell her what Mommy used to say about family. Thomas's eyes softened. She said, families aren't just born. They're chosen, built through love, trust, and kindness. As snow fell gently outside, Claire realized that the coldest nights often lead to the warmest homes. She hadn't just found shelter, she'd found belonging. A chosen family bound not by blood, but by shared compassion. Baby Lily cooed softly in Mia's arms, and Claire knew this was where they were meant to be. Because home isn't simply a place. It's the people who choose to love you through every storm.